A little bit more, yeah.
Dash. Just a dash. He just wants a dash. Every time I hear this, I think that's what JP Sears uses at the end of every video. Because he just, like... I'm pretty sure it's just a wine glass.
Fucking hilarious.
Oh, my hero.
Right, for forgiveness.
All right, so hello everyone. Welcome to the Wellspring Podcast number 2. This is going to be a recurring thing that we do. Where we just do deeper dives on what songs mean lyrically and just anything else that comes up about playing the song, anything like that. Just doing a deeper dive on the song, basically. So because it's clearly the most popular Source song for one reason or another, we're going to go into Forgiveness. Forgiveness was the first song. There were 2 songs written-ish for Source before Forgiveness, but Forgiveness was the first song that was played as Source with me and Dan and George. And so lyrically, the song is about an experience I had going into a flotation tank, and I was having a lot of issues with a part of my body, and I was just trying to get more information about like what's going on here, like why am I having all these issues? And I had this vision of being stabbed in the guts by like a big spear, basically. And okay. And I was like, whoa, that's weird. And like my intuition was just like, this was how I died in a past life. And so at that time, I had spent a lot of time with woke people, enlightened people. And one of them was Bentinho Massaro, who turned out to be a complete shithead, rapist, asshole, like most gurus are. But he was sort of like a spiritual teacher in Boulder at the time, and I'd go to his like satsang or whatever, and he'd sit there and just sort of talk about the truth, right? And at first when I was going, it was sort of this, it kind of felt like one of those years that The Dead or Fish or something was just like really on or something. He just had this connection to Source, right, ultimately. And the stuff he said really resonated with me, and so much of it was about oneness and sort of everything being connected, and ultimately like, so the song is about, if you look at We Are Source and So Are You, we say We Are Source and So Are You all the time, and that's not just a way of being like, you know, you're part of the family, which it is absolutely, like, you are part of the family, but it also means like we actually ultimately fundamentally are the same. Like it's all one mind. And to me, the word source means the closest thing you can get to where everything comes from. It's like one step removed, because even like the word source itself is something that's created. And so there has to be something that creates that word, right? Mm-hmm. So when I was in this float tank, seeing myself getting stabbed by, it looked like some dude in a Roman helmet or something, right? Like, it was really weird. I had this sort of click, like, anytime anybody kills somebody, they're really just killing themselves. And if we're all connected, if we're all one, if it's all one mind, it's really just, you know, the meta mind committing micro-suicide, basically, right? Yeah. And so I'm born, thrive, and die all at the same time is this idea that there is no such thing as linear time, in that same concept that all moments are happening all at once. I'm continuously getting stabbed, right? Like that happened in the now moment, and the now moment is all there is, right? Mm-hmm. Been killed so many times now, the truth can't be disguised. I think, you know, that's basically just speaking again to like every time anybody dies, that's an experience that people can connect to because they are connected to it, right? And I think there's a lot of information in sort of the like ethereal realms that people can get from death because, you know, people have died so many times. I am the condemned, the noose, the executioner, the bullet, the victim, and the I should have pulled up the lyrics. Anyways, that whole section is basically saying, like, I am all these things all at once. Like, not just people, not just mind, but actually every single atom is connected, right? And I am the bullet, and I am the gun, and I am the person who's dying, and I am the person who's shooting, ultimately, because the thing that connects us all is this, like, fundamental awareness, right? And bullet the victim and the sword the audience and the swallower simultaneously. So that whole section is basically, that's what it's saying. And then you get to the chorus, and again, just sort of like having this experience in the flow tank of like seeing somebody stab somebody, like, or being stabbed by somebody else, right? And sort of like having this experience of seeing the reflection of God in their eyes or something like that. Like, can you feel the pain as the life drains from my eyes? The pain you feel is yours. Because moving beyond death, there's probably not really any pain at beyond death. So the pain that's left is the pain of like, wow, I just killed a part of myself. Like, that's really fucked up. It's the pain of suicide. I forgive you for destroying me. And that, to me, is sort of how intuitively it felt like this is what needs to happen for me to be able to move beyond this, like, you know, this pattern of physical discomfort and like things not working. Because it just felt like there was sort of like this grudge being held. And to see that actually by being killed by another version of myself, basically, my spirit is learning more about death and finding forgiveness in that. And basically, like, yeah, I signed up, you know, like I believe everybody always signs up for the experiences that happen to them. I really don't believe anybody's a victim of anything. Because I believe that we all create these experiences for ourselves, and
whether it's conscious or not.
You
need to work through something or whatever. And so you're going to replay this until you learn your lesson.
Exactly, right? And so the lesson in this song is forgiveness. And I forgive you for destroying me. Fuck, I haven't sang the song in so long. I should have pulled up the goddamn lyrics. Can you pull them up? Oh, man. Yeah. Destroying me.
That's still on the website, right?
No, I moved it to the Wellspring, so you're going to have to use your login. That's why I couldn't pull them up. I was trying to pull it up, but then my login wouldn't work on the Wellspring. So all of you know, if you want to look up our lyrics, you might be able to find them on the internet. But, oh yeah, you can do that too. You might be able to find them on the internet. But especially the new lyrics, they're probably not out there yet. So if you want to read all that stuff and you didn't buy the limited edition because you are a loser, then you don't have the lyrics. See, this is what that's what I was saying too. I put in my password, or I was like, this is definitely my password. We can cut this out too. What the fuck? Is our internet's working.
I mean, I just typed this in on my other computer and it worked fine.
That doesn't make any sense, dude. What the hell is going on?
Oh, is that it? Maybe I did type it in. No.
Dude, what the fuck?
Let me try one more thing.
Oh, I all of a sudden just logged in. What? That's so weird. Oh, there was something wrong with Squarespace, maybe?
I had the wrong password. I was typing.
All right.
I was forgetting to capitalize something.
So we'll go back. I gotta scroll all the way the fuck down. All right. Oh my goodness. Here we go. All right. Forgiveness.
You got the lyrics there.
Okay. The bullet, the victim, and the slaughterer. The incantation, the wand, the sorcerer. I love that line.
Yeah, I always like the use of incantation. That's like not a common word, but like it's so descriptive and just like.
But that's so cool too. It's like I am the magic, the tool that brings the magic to life, and the person who wills it. Right?
Yeah,
that is fucking cool.
Yeah.
The sword, the audience, and the swallower simultaneously. Okay. Can you see the light as the wonder fills my eyes? And again, that's sort of like, I actually was drawing from an episode of Babylon 5 where the doctor's an atheist, but he's not. Maybe he's agnostic, something like that, right? Like he believes in something, but like not anything within the concept of religion. And he's talking to somebody. Oh, he's talking to somebody who's an atheist, I think. And he's like, "Have you ever watched somebody die? Like, there's a moment where you can see God in their eyes." And I think, yeah, that really stuck with me. So anyways, can you see the light as the wonder fills my eyes? The light you see is yours. It's the reaction to your fright. And I think that it's sort of talking about like an equal and opposite reaction. Like the need to kill somebody is ultimately out of fear for the most part. If you're like murdering somebody, if you're protecting yourself, it's different. But this was clearly like, what I'm dealing with is more like somebody fucking murdered me, or like this mirror image of like I'm murdering somebody and I'm being murdered at the same time, right? And I think it's this idea of the equal and opposite reaction. And there's an Alex Gray painting. Maybe it's dying. Maybe it's dying. But I always think of, this always reminds me of Alex Gray. It's almost like there's like a portal to like an Alex Gray painting in somebody's eyes as they die, right? Because like I've had so many experiences with Alex Gray's paintings where I feel like that is sort of like the realm of the gods, if you will. I see that like reflection, like the reflection of the infinite being like brought back to the person who's like so terrified that they're committing this horrible act, as like this equal and opposite reaction thing. Because every time you kill me, we see our indestructibility. And that's speaking to the transcendence beyond the physical, the consciousness that is always aware, whether it's inhabited, whether it's inhabiting a body or it's just the consciousness that is here, like, and then birth, life, death, rebirth. That's pretty self-explanatory. So yeah,
that part always had a disgustipated vibe for me.
Maybe is it the
just
distortion?
The repetitive lyrics.
Oh, sure. This is necessary.
Yeah.
Birth, life, death. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So the only other thing that is different, in the when we come back around to the chorus again the last time, is can you see the light as the wonder fill my eyes? The light you see is you, so don't look so terrified. And I think that's really like, you are God, and this is God exploring itself in this way that is painful and challenging, and it moves beyond singular lifetimes, right? But ultimately, this is God expressing its indestructibility in a way. So, yeah, I think that's what the song's about.
Cool.
Yeah. Which, I don't know how many people get that when they listen to this. They probably have a whole lot of different meanings for this song, and I don't want to take that away from anybody. But this is where I'm coming from. And I think the thing about lyrics is like, everybody's got to get out of the way of source in a way. I think creating in general, I think it's important to be like a channel more than an ego. I think you can really hear music that's made from the ego versus like a channel that is allowing something larger to come through, and like you become the instrument yourself, and in that way, my interpretation of what's coming through me is just as valid as somebody else's interpretation, and I think that's what really good art is all about.
For sure.
Yeah,
it actually kind of aligns with what Seal was saying. I was watching that.
Hell yeah, Seal.
Yeah, the Rick Beato video on his song. And he even said that because he had a little call with Seal. And Seal's like, people ask me, like, well, what was that lyric? Or what does that mean to you? He's like, I flip it around and ask them that question. What does it mean to you?
Right.
And then whatever they say, I agree with pretty much, because that's right for them.
Right.
That is the right answer for them.
And you can't take that away from people.
Yeah.
I do think at the same time it is interesting. Like, Maynard doesn't talk about his lyrics very much, but you hear him talk about them every once in a while. You're like, wow, that's really interesting. And it doesn't change the way I experience the song, really. I think it just gives me more insight to who he is.
For sure. Yeah, I have kind of like my own sort of interpretation of Pupa lyrics.
Right.
And then I've heard you talk about them. It's like, oh, it's similar, but it's not exactly the same. But it doesn't change the way I feel about it or what it means to me. Right. It broadens it a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's just it gives you a better understanding of the essence of what is being expressed. You know, like ultimately you can boil down my interpretation of anything to something like really essential. And I think the one thing that everyone's interpretation will share in common is that it relates to this essence of the song in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, shit. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
That's episode 2. We've got, how many songs do we have? Over 30 at this point. So we'll even do one for Nakata Persenalik sometime.
Yeah. Maybe have the guest musicians.
Oh, yeah, we could get the guest musicians on. That's a good idea. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, cheers, man. That was fun.
Cheers.
Thank you. Do it again.
Yeah.
Cool.